What's up, guys? Frugal BC, and today I have an experiment result from you, early results from our new experiment on this Algorand DeFi platform. So stay tuned. We're going to show you the results of that, how it's going so far, and just kind of dive into the details of what's been going on. As you know, I like to do a lot of these experiments. I like to try new things out and actually see how they work. You know, it's one thing to say, you know, have theories about how something is work or what a platform tells you it's going to do, but it's a very different thing to actually dive in, get under the hood, and actually put some money in and try it out. That's what we try to do on this channel. So today, this Algorand video, this Algorand review, we're going to look at CompX. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing in CompX and why I chose it, and then how it's gone so far. Now, it's very early. Channel members got a really early look at it. When I first started it, they got the first couple of days, got to see how it's going. So if you're interested in that, you can check out our channel memberships on the main page. Just hit the join button if you're already subscribed, and you can check that out. Also, we are brought to you by Haystack, the easiest and simplest way to trade on Algorand, and it's mobile first for the new age. Also, we are brought to you by Marcus Aurelius, a meme coin and NFT project on the Algorand blockchain, spreading the word about stoicism. Go check out their YouTube channel, by the way, because they're doing some really awesome YouTube videos. And if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. If you want these experiments, go ahead and do that. As I always say, you don't have to smash it. You can actually just press it gently, and it works just fine that way too. But let's get into this experiment. I'm going to show you what I did here, and this is CompX. So you can see I'm already logged in. Well, actually, you can't see it from here. Let me go. Yeah, that shows up pretty well. The one thing you can't see is on the right-hand side. I am logged in. If you wanted to log in, you would just click the button. I can show you from the full screen here. You can see right up here on the right is where you would log in, but upper right hand corner. But here we go. It's the USDC x USD pool. Now, some of you guys have watched me for a while, and you know that on TinyMan, there was a long time where there was a US dollar coin and US Tether token pair, and that you just simply cannot lose because the value of the coins are going to stay at $1. And so you can't lose by price appreciation. Because you guys know, some of you guys seen this. I know this is a long time ago now, but I did a 1-year experiment where I tried out a number of DeFi platforms, and my suspicion, which turned out to be true, was that you could lose more in token depreciation than you would gain from APY, even at really high levels. That turned out to be 100% true. So you got to be really careful what you pick. And I generally found that if you compare a US dollar token with a different token in a liquidity pair like this, you can do really well. You can make a lot of money because you're not going to lose. They're going to be much more stable, and then you don't lose as much from price depreciation while still gaining from rewards. So that's one of my favorites. US dollar coin and Algorand was one of my favorite ones to do. Once they changed the incentive structure, that one wasn't as valuable anymore. So I was really bummed, actually. I was one of the people who did not love staking because it meant that those rewards went away, and I was doing really well on those, way more than I'm making on staking. But it is what it is. I totally understand why they did that. So when I saw this, I thought, hold on, this looks like something I need to try out. Now you can see here, they're saying 16%. Now I want to tell you that when I started this, they were talking like 50-some%. And our results are very, very different. So you're going to want to pay attention to that so far. So I started this, I'll actually pull up my spreadsheet here. So I started off on September 12th. I put in $100, and I think this is worth noting. I ended up with 90.26 somehow. I'm not really sure how that happened. I don't think the fees were $10, but somehow I ended up with this amount. Now, this is a really strange thing. It was that for a while, and then when I checked it on the 15th, it was back up to 97.66. It was as high as 99.21 and back down to 98.24. And I think I know why. I think this is why, because look at this price, 94 cents. So it hasn't really stayed at $1. In fact, if you look, it really has almost never been $1. And that's kind of strange. Although, what was it on the 12th? So even on the 12th, it wasn't quite $1. I think that's why, because I put $100 in, but I ended up with a little more than 50 in tokens, 50.10. So I think the reason for that is that this thing has never been quite $1. Not for a while. It looks like it maybe has, well, it's flashed a lot. And I don't know if I've never run a stable coin. Yeah, it has been. Okay, here it was over $1 for a little while. That's very, very interesting, because I wonder if, let's just compare for a second. Compared to US dollar coin, it's $1, exactly $1 right now. It has been, well, it has been actually down. So this is US dollar coin versus Algo. Actually, I don't know that that tells us anything, but it's exactly $1. You can see here it's exactly $1, and that's what USDC should be. A US dollar token of any kind should stay at there. So that's one thing to keep in mind, I would say. But still, you know, let's just go back, because something important to keep in mind here, this is still very stable, right? So the one thing, you know, you might have to time it a little bit. If you wanted to exit this, you might do well to actually time this a little bit, so that, you know, you wait into the higher registers versus the lower ones. You might have to wait a little bit. That's something to keep in mind, you know, but it's stayed pretty depegged actually, but it hasn't totally depegged. So, you know, that is something to be cautious about a little bit, I would say. So like I said, when I started, it was about, let me make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, like I said, when I first started this, the APY was listing at about 56%. I will tell you that has never been the case from what I've calculated on rewards. It's actually been quite a bit different. Now, I do have to say these are probably slightly off, because I'm treating it like you earn your rewards in the XUSD, and of course that is not exactly $1. So my calculations are going to be a little bit off, but just to keep the math simple, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. It will make a little bit of a difference though. That's important to keep in mind. So I've been keeping track, and on the 25th of today, it was at 0.432. So I figured out on average I'm getting about 3.3 cents per day. And in terms of APY, that comes out to about 12%. So I'm going to make about $12 on this. So that's still pretty good. 12%. You know, in crypto, we're used to like super high APYs. But actually 12% on something that's basically going to hold value, like that is not bad at all. That's a pretty good return. So not what it was saying. It's not even what it's saying now, because it's saying 16%. And I don't know if that's compounding. That I'm not sure of. It might be if you compound, you get that much. But here's the other thing. There's no auto compound. So what I have to do to actually enter this, there's no way to do it here. I have to go to, it's a PackFi, by the way. You can't, what I found out, you can't do this on TinyMan or somewhere else. It has to be on PackFi. And so what you would have to do is claim your rewards, swap it somewhere for swap half of it for XUSD, and then come back and then make it on PackFi. You have to make the token pair on PackFi, and then you can add it here. So I would really love to see an auto compound like TinyMan has, but you know, who knows? I have no idea how hard that is to build it. Maybe it's super duper complicated, and I really don't know. So I want to be fair. I want to be fair about that, but it is something to keep in mind. So when it's more difficult, you're probably less likely to do it very often. So I'm not going to do this every day, because it's just a big pain in the butt. Maybe once in a week, probably more like once a month I'll do this. And for the experiment, I think I'm going to do it once a month. So once the 1 month period is over on October 12th, then I'm going to probably re-up, and then that's going to be complicated by this price, because I'm probably not going to do it when it's at 94. I'm probably going to want to do it when it's at 96 or even a little bit higher. So I'm going to keep an eye on that too. That does make me a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. So this is why we do the experiment, because you might just look at this, and like I said before, it was 56%. You think, oh, I'm just going to get 56%. I'll put it in, not think about it ever again. But what you actually get is far less, and it's not even 6. We're not even getting 16%. We're getting like 12% or 13. What did I say? 12? Yeah, 12%. Like I said, still not bad, but I hope those points are stuff that you're going to keep in mind if you're interested in doing this. I don't think it's a bad thing by any means. I think it works pretty well, but I would be a little concerned. It's something to keep in mind. And, you know, like I said, this value has fluctuated so much. I'm not really sure why, because it's down right now. So I don't know what happened there, but anyway, so this is one of the experiments. Like I said, we got a number of them. We had the Ready pool. We'll probably do one on that later. A bunch of other stuff to talk about, but you know, I'd love to hear any questions you have. Let me know in the comments below. What other experiments might you like to see? I can only run so many at once, but definitely would love to hear ideas for it. And if you had an experience with CompX, I would love to hear that as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'm FrugalBC. I hope you enjoyed these experiment videos. I kind of want to get back to doing some more of these, so along with the news. And if there's other chains, you know, I should probably do another saucer swap one too on Hedera. That would be fun to do as well. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'm FrugalBC, and I will see you in the future.